All right, so it's been an all-out assault since Trump named you.
No doubt.
I mean, from alleged rape allegations to allegations about your marriage to financial mismanagement allegations at your companies that you ran, your foundations, I should say. How's it going with Trump right now? Is he so far standing by you, and have you spoken to him?
I spoke to him this morning, Megan. I mean, he's amazing. He's a fighter. He's been through this himself. And he told me the last thing he said to me, well, two things he said to me when I left his office when he chose me was, well, besides what he said about being a warfighter, we can get into that, was
he contends with new allegations of misconduct. CBS News has confirmed that Pete Hegseth was forced to step down from a previous leadership role with a nonprofit due to accusations of financial mismanagement, sexual impropriety, and repeated intoxication while on the job.
You know, some of these articles are very disturbing. He, obviously has a chance to defend himself here, but, some of this stuff is going to be difficult. Time will tell. I like Pete. I've known him for a very, very long time.
What happens when someone stands up to the establishment, speaks the truth, and dares to challenge the status quo? They're targeted, smeared, and dragged through the mud. Today, we're talking about Pete Hegseth, President Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense, and the shocking campaign to take him down. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. Welcome to the Revo Review. I'm Vince Revo.
Amid the growing controversy over Pete Hegseth's nomination as Defense Secretary, the Wall Street Journal and The Bulwark are reporting that President-elect Trump is weighing whether to replace him with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Both outlets cite people familiar with the discussions. NBC News has not independently confirmed the reporting, but this comes amid increasing concerns from some Republican lawmakers over the mounting allegations concerning Hegseth's personal life.
Point number one, the media's playbook. Anonymous sources and smears. It's the same story over and over again. The conservative figure gains traction, and suddenly, anonymous allegations flood the headlines. Pete Hegseth is now facing allegations of drinking and misconduct at Fox News. Claims that come with zero evidence, all based on anonymous sources. Anonymous sources are the media's easiest tools for character assassination. They don't have to prove anything. They just whisper accusations and let the headlines do the damage. It's a cowardly and dishonest tactic. If there's any truth to these claims, why not bring forward a single credible witness?
Mark, what more can you tell us? Is this imminent? Are there any other catches that could hold this up?
Well, I was told it was a really serious conversation they've been having, and they've been having it for a while. And it's not Donald Trump's people talking to Ron DeSantis' people. It's Donald Trump talking to Ron DeSantis about it. I got to say, having covered both of these guys, having covered the Republican primary, it's really kind of hard to see this happening. But I've been assured, and was reporting it out yesterday, that no, this could really happen. It's not just that Pete Hegseth has these problems. It's that Donald Trump is serious, not just about getting the woke out of the military, is that he believes that there's a certain amount of bloat, and understandably so, and perhaps a certain amount of fat that needs to be cut from the Pentagon budget. And you're going to need someone who is able to do that and withstand the political pressure. And there's one thing, whether you dislike Ron DeSantis or you like Ron DeSantis, that most people agree on, is that DeSantis is very stubborn, and when he sets his mind to doing something, he does it, and he doesn't care about who howls. So if, and it's still an if, and perhaps a big if, Ron DeSantis is appointed to be the DOD secretary, the defense secretary, yeah, he's going to pursue these social policies, but there is a strong possibility, I'm being told, that he'll actually try to really cut some of that Pentagon budget, which has a lot of profligate spending in it.
Number two, the hypocrisy of the legacy media. The same media outlets that are running hit pieces on Hegseth had no problem defending far worse behaviors from their favored politicians. Double standards are the rule of the day. When it's a progressive, the narrative shifts to forgiveness and redemption. But for a conservative like Pete Hegseth, they're dragged through the mud without hesitation. And let's not forget that Hegseth is a decorated veteran who served multiple tours in combat. Are these the same media outlets going to discredit a war hero based on office gossip or unverifiable rumors? Pretty outstanding to me.
When you were at Concerned Veterans for America, were you ever drunk while traveling on the job?
Not going to dignify that with a response.
I mean, can you respond to those allegations, sir? I don't know if you've read the New Yorker article, but There was also a whistleblower report that was conducted at the organization. Are you familiar with what that details?
Talking to all the senators, and I look forward to those discussions.
Would you care to respond to the allegations, sir?
Look forward to talking to senators.
Point number 3, the establishment's fear of outsiders. Now let's talk about what's really happening here. Pete Hegseth represents a shift, a move away from the cozy relationships and pro-war establishments that dominated Washington. His nomination threatens that status quo. The establishment thrives on endless wars, bloated budgets, and unchecked power. Hegseth, with his populist pro-military but anti-war stance, challenges all of that. This is why certain senators, even Republicans, are waffling. They're part of that system, and they don't want someone like Pete rocking that boat.
How's it going with Trump right now? Is he so far standing by you, and have you spoken to him?
I spoke to him this morning, Megan. I mean, he's amazing. He's a fighter. He's been through this himself. And he told me the last thing he said to me, well, 2 things he said to me when I left his office when he chose me, was, well, besides what he said about being a warfighter, we can get into that, was you're going to need to be tough as shit. You're going to need to be tough as shit. But he paused again as I was walking away and said, but you're the man for this moment. I chose you because you're the guy that's going to put the warfighters first. We haven't had that. We need a guy that's kicked down doors and understands the consequences of war and why us deterring war, fighting it, and winning it is important. He gets it. And we can get into the policy of all of that. But ultimately, he reiterated the same thing this morning. Hey, Pete, I got your back. It's a fight. They're coming after you. Get after it. I think he'll be delighted that we're talking today. Yeah. And we're going to do more talking because for so long what was said about me, what has been said about me, it was so ridiculous and all anonymous that we didn't want to give it oxygen. You don't want to respond to things that don't merit response. And so we haven't, but sitting here with you and going forward, the media is driving with this ridiculous narrative. It's our time to stand up and tell the truth and our side. And he knows that. And so he supports me. I won't betray what we talked about specifically, but he said, you go out and meet those senators and I've got your back. It means a lot to me. Tells you who that guy is.
So you are meeting with them.
Point number 4, the bigger battle. Populism versus the swamp. This isn't just about Pete Hegseth. It's about a fundamental divide in American politics and the people. On one side, you have leaders who prioritize America's interest, leaders like Hegseth and Trump who want to rebuild our military, focus on national defense, and stay out of endless wars. And on the other side, you have the establishment, the swamp. These are the people who profit from the conflict, push divisive ideologies like CRT and DEI into the military, and undermine anyone who dares to challenge their power. Pete Hegseth's fight is symbolic of this larger struggle. And make no mistake, the swamp is fighting back with everything they've got.
Pete has faced several accusations, including abuse, sexual assault, and more. There was also a leaked email from Pete's mom from 2018 that was published in the New York Times, and in it, she was critical of his past relationships with women. Pete's mother, Penelope Hegseth, joins us live on the set doing this.
No.
Because you didn't realize that this email you wrote in 2018, somebody leaked it to the New York Times.
Correct.
And they printed it.
Correct.
I'm going to read part of it. You say, this is to Pete, during the 2018 divorce. You say, I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, and sleeps around. And you go on and say, you are that man and have been for years. And as your mother, it pains me and embarrasses me to say that, but it is a sad, sad truth. You say, we still love you, but we are broken by your behavior and your lack of character. Mm-hmm. When you wrote that, what's the backstory? What was going on that made you so angry you wanted to write that?
Well, I will tell that story in a moment, but let me make 2 statements first, and one is to President Trump. And I want to say thank you for your belief in my son. We all believe in him. We really believe that he is not that man he was 7 years ago. I'm not that mother. And I hope people will hear that story today and the truth of that story. So the other thing I want to say is I am here to tell the truth. To tell the truth to the American people and tell the truth to the senators on the Hill, right, especially our female senators. I really hope that you will not listen to the media and that you will listen to Pete.
Well, and you're here to tell us, because you are in the news now, So why did you write that email in 2018?
Right. Well,
what was going on?
Right. Let's go back 7 years, which if we all went back 7 years, we would see that maybe we were not the people we are today. But they were going through, Pete and his wife at the time were going through a very difficult divorce. It was a very emotional time, and I'm sure many of you across the country understand how difficult divorce is on a family. There's emotions. We say things, and I wrote that in haste. I wrote that with deep emotions. I wrote that as a parent, and about 2 hours later, my husband tells me I should think through things a little bit more, but Pete and I are both very passionate people. I wrote that out of love. And about 2 hours later, I retracted it with an apology email, but nobody's seen that.
Number 5, what this means for you, what this means for the nation. What's at stake here isn't just nomination. It's about whether we as a country are willing to stand up for truth and integrity. If Pete Hegseth, a war hero and proven leader, can be taken down by baseless accusations, what does that say about our values? Here's the good news. People are waking up. The more the media plays these games, the more we see right through their lies. Americans want leaders who are unafraid to speak the truth, who prioritize our country over politics, and who fight for what's right. This is about more than one man. This is about defending the principles that make our nation great. Pete Hegseth embodies strength, integrity, and commitment to America's future. Isaiah 41:10 reminds us, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Let's stand together, demand accountability, fight for leaders who will uphold these values. Stay informed, stay engaged, and keep speaking up. Your voice matters. God bless you.